Bridge the Gap Cycling Podcast. We're here at the Peddler Bike Shop. The Peddler Bike Shop here in Austin, Texas. We've got an employee here and a previous employee here. This is my co-host, Ellis Small, and my name's Kanten Nichols. Thanks for joining us. Unfortunately, in a lot of bike shops, there's this idea of the employee that's the race bro, the crit bro.
Yeah.
And
they be trying to put that on me, bro. I hate that.
Yeah,
shit.
so
I hate that shit.
But it's the cyclist that is oftentimes talking down to the customer because they're not, riding a 10 grand bike, an 8 grand bike. They're not racing because they're on, an $800 hybrid. But while we both race, we have the perspective of coming from maybe a lower income.
For sure.
Yeah, coming from a lower income growing up. And using cycling as not just fitness, not just leisure, but as an integral part of our life.
100%.
So that is something I do really appreciate in the Peddler, is that the shop has people that know how really high-end mountain bike works, really high-end road bikes work, how race tactics happen, but also can understand you're just trying to get from point A to point B, and the bike is your only option.
100%.
I don't feel like anyone comes in here feeling like they're being talked down to because they can't afford a bike that's more than 3 digits.
Yeah, 100%. And when they even come in here, be like, I know I don't look like a cyclist or a rider. I'm like, bro, stop. I usually stop and I'm like, come on, bro. That's the first thing I'm saying, because it's like, man, I was you 4 years ago, man. Like, I was like, what you mean?
Oftentimes the bike shop experience can be poor for people who are, like we were saying earlier, not necessarily welcome or don't necessarily feel welcome in cycling as a whole.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, bike shops can contribute to why people don't feel welcome in cycling.
That's one of my biggest things, bro. I can't stand that. Just because I know, it could just be the conversation. It could just be so small, man. It's tone and how you speak to people, y'all, and it's such a neat sport anyway. In general, the last thing we need to do is just be pushing people who are already intrigued by it. We don't need to push them away. We need to be open arms. I guess that kind of ties back with the E3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We gotta be inclusive, bro. We have to be bringing people in so they have perspective, because I feel like most of the laws of bike lanes and cycling protection and stuff like that, if we don't get more people on bikes, cars are gonna keep doing what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? So I feel like if we can be inclusive and have more eyes and have more people in the sport, the better for the longevity and the growth that we could probably get to. I want my kid to be able to ride. I don't have a kid yet, but I want to feel comfortable to ride to and from. And I feel like cycling is the only sport you can die when you're in training.
Yeah, it's definitely a high risk.
Or commuting.
Every time you get out to ride your bike to work or to go on a 2-hour training ride, either one, you're taking that risk. And it's some things you can control and some things you just can't.
Facts.
You're at the mercy of 2 or 3 ton vehicles on the road. People in cages. There's a separation. So, yeah, I completely agree that the more people that we get on bikes, the more people that experience it and have that perspective from both being in a car and being on a bike,
right,
the better we can coexist,
For sure. 100%. We need to, man. We need to. The bike is too good of a tool in an old tool, nonetheless, for us to be not understanding, But hopefully we're getting there, man. And I think that's also why we're trying to bridge the gap. and trying to be able to show people that like we like other things that aren't bikes, but at the same time, it's just something definitely very important to us, close and dear to our heart. But we feel like it's a sport that doesn't get the eyes that it deserves, and hopefully we can be a part of that change. How did you get into this? Like, how long have you been riding, man? Like, how long? It's been a minute, right?
Yeah. So I started riding, like really riding, in college, and it was mainly out of necessity. So I was diagnosed with epilepsy. I was having seizures pretty often. So obviously, without being able to control yourself that way, like you can't drive. You can't drive in Texas for 3 months after a seizure. In a lot of places, it's 6 months. It varies all over, but I was having them frequently enough that it was off the table. So I needed a way to get around, right? So initially I found a Schwinn Solara, which was
we gonna put the image on it because anything you say Schwinn, bro.
Man, Schwinn
we're gonna put it up top.
Which I think I've still got photos of that bike, like mine. So if I do, I'll throw that up. If not, we'll just throw a stock photo.
Right here.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
But I mean, like an all aluminum bike, aluminum fork, everything with road bike with tourney, thumb shifters at the stem, right? So two by up front, seven speeds in the rear. It's like $150 target bike. You got the job done for a little while, man. Like I'm not just saying commuting. I'm saying I did my first 100K on it.
What?
Yeah. Solo.
No way, bro.
Solo.
No way.
No bike shorts. Like I was Fred as fuck. I was Fred as fuck. I was wearing like Adidas like soccer shorts.
Yeah.
And like a dry fit, like a tech tee. And I don't think I was wearing a helmet. Like I don't know. It was wild. Did my first 100K. I rode from Denton, where I went to school, to Frisco and back. I stopped in the middle of the ride and got some food.
Typical.
Yep.
True to form.
Exactly. So, but I mean, basing off that, obviously, like it came out of necessity, but it became something I was into pretty quickly. And I found a specialized sector at a garage sale with a busted up bottom bracket. And the dude, it's way nicer than a Schwinn Solara, but not a super high end bike. I think at the time they retailed for about $850. It had Claris on it, so it was 8 speed instead of 7. Carbon fork. I was like, oh man, living the life. This is sick. And found that for $90 because the bottom bracket was pretty beat, and the dude thought it was going to be way more expensive to replace than it was. So all in all, it cost me $120, $130 to get that thing rolling, and I felt great. This was like the second semester of my freshman year of college. I went home for summer, and I rode with a bunch of the older folks, the mammals up there. You know that acronym, right?
No.
Mammal? You never heard that? MAMIL.
That's us, right?
Middle-aged man in Lycra.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I rode with a bunch of them, and they were like triathletes. I was probably 30 years younger than the youngest dude there. Right. I'm showing up on flat pedals in a kit that's a jersey that's 2 sizes too big, and like a basic like Schwinn or Bell helmet, something like that. And they teach me some. They're triathletes, so it's a little different vibes. Little different vibes than what we're into, but they taught me a lot compared to the Fred I was, right?
Right.
And it was cool. They gave me one of the dudes gave me my first pair of clipless pedals, and they were mountain bike pedals, but it was something. Yeah. And they took me to my first race. That was sick. So we showed up to this Omnium, crit road race time trial. Ended up winning the time trial for the Cat 5s, which was sick. But crit and road race were different stories. You got tactics there, and I didn't have tactics. I raced through college. Collegiate cycling is the most fun you'll have in cycling out there. Every race weekend's a party.
Bro, honestly, that's like one of my biggest regrets, not finding a bike early and being able to do riding in college. Yeah. That would be a different vibe.
But I always said that was one of my biggest regrets with cycling, is not starting it when I was 14 or 15, even earlier.
Yeah. Right,
so, there's always, you could always start earlier.
It's always something.
But anyway, I moved down to Austin after college, and I met the Phenom Cycle Club and raced with them for a while, but majority of my time riding hasn't been racing. Either personal blockouts, too much stress with work, with life, with whatever, or COVID has stopped me from racing or races from happening.
Damn, that's a good point, bro. Like, that's really a good point, 100%. No, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
It's a world where if you want to be able to race consistently, you either have to have everything going smoothly, or it has to be the number one focus in your life.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's impossible.
In such a small window.
It is.
Very, like, such a, traditionally, I guess you could say it's such a small window, but hopefully, you might be able to kind of, maybe the culture can adapt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, 100%.
So now we're getting back to the point where I haven't structured training since 2020, since right before COVID hit, and I was the fittest I ever was.
Fit as fuck, boy.
I was pretty strong. Podiumed and won a couple races that year before COVID hit, and then everything shut down. So I haven't structured trained or done structured training since 2020, and I'm excited to get back to it. I'm excited to see to meet and hopefully exceed my prior peak.
100%.
So that's the goal for this year, man.
Yeah.
The goal for this year is to get to that 4.5 watts per kilo and beyond.
It's happening, bro. This consistency, man.
Yeah.
You gotta. Life is a lot more controlled now too, especially with you being up in Dallas. I think, man, great things are gonna happen. It's crazy what happens when you got no distractions. You can really lock in what you can do with the body and the mind and the body for sure. 100%, bro. 100%. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm like super excited.
Yeah.
I'm really like, it makes me feel like my first year again,
Exactly. I feel just like that. I feel like it's my first year, but I still have all the knowledge from prior race seasons. I still know I know how to handle a bike in a pack, and I know racing dynamics a lot more than my first year.
For sure.
But I have that same excitement. I have the excitement to want to train and race and do the best that I can.
And that says something too, bro, because I mean, I think about how many seasons you get that, like after Tulsa, and you get that little bit of lull where you're like, your head's not in it and your body's already beat too. It's it hits a little bit different. So you definitely have to kind of be fresh.
The post-event hangover.
Oh my God.
And we're not talking about drinking.
No.
The post-event hangover is very real.
No.
You have something that you've been training for months at a time, and so much of your life focuses on that.
Yep.
And then you get to the point, you get it over with, and you're like, what do I do now?
Right.
What do I do now? Why am I doing this if I don't have something else?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of tough to deal with. How do you address that?
Honestly, man, the other ways I was doing it last year were not good because I was letting other distractions come along, and I was like having fun. You know what I mean?
Having too much fun.
Having too much fun that then it turns into not fun, and then you realize how much time and energy you have put into not having fun, and then realizing, and then getting hit with a wall of regret of like not doubling down and still investing in yourself. So I definitely think like this year is like I'm not gonna allow anything to get in the way, anything. And yeah, and at least we can address it. Sometimes you go through it and you just don't even know, man.
Yep.
You don't even know what you're actually going through. So for it to be like, yeah, now like no distractions, man. Maybe just take a little break, man. Take a little pool day. Take a little Barton Springs. We got the springs out here. Chill out for a little bit. You know what I mean? Call your mom. You know what I mean? Call your family, bro. Get a little perspective. Maybe take a trip. You know, take a drive. Take like a good drive and really have a purpose with it. Just be purposeful. I feel like it's going to be the biggest thing. Don't do anything mindless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Always have intention. If you do that, you can like stay away from drifting. I feel like drifting is like the biggest thing humans fall into and why we don't achieve our goals.
Yeah, complacency.
Yeah, 100%.
Complacency instead of moving with direction and drive.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that's probably like the biggest way you can cope with it. Sure.
So, talk to me about how long you've been cycling and what got you into it.
I would say living in downtown Charleston, I'm commuting back and forth on a single speed. Everything is super flat. If anybody's from down there, shout out to the 843. Yeah, man, like pretty much working a food and bev job. Had a girl on my handlebars, caught a flat, dropped her off home. Next day, woke up a little early, and then had to go get it fixed. One bike shop, I'm not gonna name because they lames anyway. Was known to be like aggressive to folks of color. Yeah, woke up the next day, woke up early, went to another bike shop. That was better, and I was the second or third time I've been in there in 2 weeks, and I was like, man, like I needed some type of like internship, like because $20 every time, bro, for working a food and bev job, like is hurting. I'm feeling it, and they said like we're hiring. You don't have an internship, but we're hiring because I asked for an internship, and you know I was just like, all right, well let me just make the swap, like so I kind of worked part time on both until I showed my sales skills and a little fixing here and there. I'm not a mechanic. I'm gonna say straight up, I'm not a mechanic. I race bikes, I sell bikes. I do not fix bikes, but I can do a little bit. I can get home.
You can do a roadside service.
Yeah, 100%, AAA. But yeah, and then kind of just went from there. Worked at that shop for about like 2-3 years. And got a road bike, and then just started going. I was on that single speed for a while, and just upped my gearing. And that's when I was like, oh, fuck, I think I like track, honestly. Because I was just like, a single gear, just sprint it up. Like, that's fine, you know. But yeah, did that for a little bit. And then started racing crits. And then I think, like, the first year, I was like, I got second at regionals. Which I thought that was pretty bad. I was like, yo, regional, like, maybe I can do something, you know? So,
So when was this? When did you start riding? Or, like, at least... When did you start at that shop?
Maybe 2017.
Okay.
2018, maybe.
Yeah, so we're looking at about 7 years?
Yeah, I would probably say so. Seven. Maybe I didn't race officially. I've been racing probably like five seasons, maybe. But COVID year, so maybe 4. And I think that's why it took me so long to get to this point. If I was in Austin a couple years back, bro, I would have been like already like a pro. Like for real, like I would have already done it. Just
say that shit with your chest.
Yeah, I would already. I would have already been. I would have already. You know what I'm saying? I would have already been a pro if I had these reps. I mean, shout out to Austin and shout out to Cali because honestly, I feel like in SoCal you can get a lot of reps, man. And that's another reason why I left and moved and worked for Specialized and did that in LA for a bit, and that's how I bumped into Justin, my homeboy Dante. Shout out to Dante if you're watching this. What up, bro? Yeah, that's how I linked up with them, and I got to really see the true skill sets of real sprinters, man. Real sprinters and real dogs. Crit dogs, man. I told Justin when he showed up here, and I was like, bro, like, I remember we were at NPR. NPR happens at anybody in the Cali, SoCal area knows NPR every Tuesday, bro. I think it's like at 7 a.m. or something like that, and it's at LAX. Mm-hmm. Outside of LAX, and we're running. I think it's about like 5 laps or something like that. Whoever gets to sprint at the end, no cutting. I used to cut all the time because I was like, bro, how are y'all so fast? But yeah, I told Justin, I was like, bro, like I remember one time he came out there and you wouldn't even. I don't even think he really even. Maybe he knew, but he just like moved me out of the way and put me in such a spot where I was like. Couldn't react, and I went from the front straight to the back. And I've never had anybody do, and without touching me too, bro. Like, I told him, I was like, we laughing at this shit. We thought it was funny as hell. But at that point in time, like, I was so flabbergasted, bro. I was like, bro, like, how are you? Like, do I know how to race? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it had to hit me for a second. I'm like, damn, like, bro, like, maybe I need to get the skill set. But, like, yeah, bro, Dante used to be on me all the time. Like, you need to go out there. Angel, too. Used to ride for Legion as well, and then he used to ride for Miami Blazers. Like, used to be on me because we worked together at Specialized. And he's like, bro, like you need to be out there. Like, you don't need to be doing nothing else. And they have LAX, they have NPR, and then they have Long Beach too. They have Camarillo, and so you would be able to get like 3 crit races in a week, bro. So I mean, it was COVID year, but people still were like fit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when I really saw. I was like, all right, you got to go another level, which kind of brought me here a few later on, you know. Yeah. Few years later on, you know.
Yeah. So you just got done being sick, right?
Sick as fuck.
You just got done getting over sickness, and like you went to the doctor a couple times, did some blood tests. For What's going on?
So pretty much, man, it is. I guess you could say it's going to be a mix of like chronic fatigue, allergies, and I guess like, you know, I would say testosterone levels, free testosterone.
Yeah.
There's not enough of it. Mm-hmm. And not enough sunlight, I would definitely say for sure. Getting enough sunlight and a lot of rest. So, you know, you just can't work your body like how you used to when you're 20, bro. You gotta be a little bit more calculated with it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so they're saying chronic fatigue levels, but like from what? So you're doing. I mean, some hours on the, some hours a week on the bike. You're doing the gym, like. But what's the biggest cause? Because we see people doing 30 hours a week on the bike.
A lot of hours.
Yeah.
Right. I would say definitely it's going to be like burning both ends of the candles and kind of putting yourself in a point where you don't have like a plethora. You have you have less stores. So then like brain function, your nervous system, hair, nails, skin, critical thinking skills, I guess, would drop off. This is when usually you see people get depressed or, you know what I mean, start to have like dark thoughts and stuff like that kind of creeps in. But I haven't had much of that. It's just been like fatigue on the bike. Yeah, I would say definitely it's, I took vitamin D and I was like, man, it's fall time coming up in the driveway. I'm already starting to feel a little burnt out because the season was pretty long. We started last year around like February and ran all the way until like in October. And racing every week in 100-degree heat definitely was like something to kind of deal with, and that's the first training load I've ever dealt with like that. So vitamin D, man, just because I knew I wasn't going to be in the sun as much, and I was going to be trying to be like a bear, trying to hibernate as much as possible.
How much?
Big bear vibes.
Like, how much sleep do you think you're getting? Or like, I mean, you're getting it. You wear a Whoop.
Yeah, I do wear a Whoop. Shout out to Whoop. It's been about like 6-7 years. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, I'm probably not getting enough. I probably need around like 8 to 9, and I've been getting probably like 6 to 7.
Yeah.
Trying to do a lot of things, trying to bring a lot of things to fruition. So yeah, for sure. But yeah, not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough. I'm trying to ace it like you know what I mean? Trying to get up there.
I don't ace it. I do decently well, but in the video that I just put out, I'm going over the training plan that first week of Trainer Road, and I show my sleep in for the past week in the video with it, and there are some really good nights. There's some poor ones. I think as long as you're getting good quality sleep 80-90% of the time, that's the biggest thing, because no one can expect to be perfect with it.
Right. You can't be perfect, man. Alright, you can't be perfect. Like you gotta try it, or you really gotta take the distractions out. Man.
Yeah. Right. Cyclists historically have a weird relationship with weight.
Yeah, roadies, man.
Sure. Most of the time cyclists are wanting to diet until they're down to nothing. Yeah. Especially because, we see the World Tour guys, we see especially guys like Jonas Vingegaard now, who are tiny, but those are the guys that are at the top of the game.
Right.
And so
power to weight, right?
we think that's the biggest thing, but you and I kind of have a different relationship with weight than most cyclists.
100%.
Both of us have been trying to gain weight over the past 6 months, year.
Yeah, bro. 100%. I feel like the off season is definitely that's the focus. Like, put on as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because we just wear down.
For you, why? Yeah. What is your biggest driver to gain weight? Why do you want to gain weight so much compared to majority of cyclists that want to lose it?
Vanity. I'm trying to look like Papi Chulo. I'm trying to look like Big Dog. No, I'm just kidding. I would definitely probably say, oh, you wear down over the season. You know what I mean? Like, you wear down over the season, and it just feels good to kind of, I feel like your body goes through this, like, everything's okay. You're not in fight or flight. I feel like throughout the race season, you get to the point where you kind of feel like, my body's reacting, but my body's like also trying to preserve itself. Like when you're doing intervals, it doesn't let you go all the way, but you try to just get as close as possible.
So what's your training plan this year?
Yeah.
Talk me through it.
The training plan really is I'm building really back now. I had like a little build before I got sick. I think probably by either next week or the week after next, we might be doing a power test. Mm-hmm. You just recently did one. Yeah. And then I think we're going to set our power zones, and then we're going to go from there. Start back on, finally get on Trainer Road and start doing a little build up. I think this year I'm going to do a little bit different, bro. I think I'm really going to have a little bit later of a build. I know a lot of people are fit right now, and they're flying. Just rode with freaking Monica from LA Sweat and Mel from Austin Outlaws? Yeah, I think it's Outlaws nowadays. I think they switched. They used to be Aviators.
And then Rob on United.
Rob on United is another domestic elite team. And that's another reason why I think Austin's pretty dope. That's just like right outside our door. Mm-hmm. That's just like a regular day. But yeah, they're flying right now. And I just feel like if it runs a little bit later, which it usually does in Texas, I feel like being like ready for Tulsa and having driveways before that's gonna have me like in good shape. What you got going on this year? What's your year look like, man? Like, what you trying to do? Got anything you can mention?
Yeah. So you and I, we both live here in Texas. Obviously, I'm up in Dallas, but down in Austin a lot. I'm gonna be down in Austin about once a month, so we can record this, we can get some good riding in together, and we can hit the driveway. Yeah. But I'm up in Dallas, and so in Dallas they've got the Richardson Crit Series that happens on Tuesday nights. Yeah. So I'll hit some of those as training crits probably every other week when I'm in town or so. I'll come down for a driveway, once a month or so. And then we're planning on the Wrong Turn Crit in May.
Oh yeah.
That race weekend that Mr. Chris Tolley is throwing.
Hey, shout out to Tolley, man.
Yep,
shout out
sure.
to Tolley, man. Backbone of this, man.
I mean, he's propping up Texas bike racing.
100%, bro.
Propping up Texas bike racing.
Without Tolley, bro, we wouldn't have half this shit, man. It's crazy.
We've got Tulsa Tough in June, and then you and I are planning a little international trip in July. That's the biggest goals. And the rest of it is just going to be enjoying the process.
For sure.
So I've got a ton of those smaller crits marked as C races. I've got some B races marked with Wrong Turn Crit and with Tulsa, and then my A race is actually those 2 weeks we're going to be international and trying to race some UCI races.
For sure.
And that's just I'm gonna try and peak there because it's a completely different world,
right.
And I want to be as strong as I can for those.
Right.
That gives me a solid 6 months of training, of developing the aerobic base and everything to try and make it happen, and aiming to average about 18 hours a week on the bike. With majority of that being indoors, unfortunately, because I'm up in Dallas. Dallas's roads are garbage. Dallas's drivers are garbage, especially compared to Austin. So that's another leading factor of why I'll be visiting so much.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my main motivation to stay on the bike.
For sure.
Through those weeks of training indoors. I can get down here and ride some beautiful roads with some fast people. Yeah. It's not uncommon that you get on a ride and you're surrounded by domestic elites.
So yeah, bro, I'm saying man, the volume that we used to do don't work. It's not gonna work, man. The training that you used to do, after COVID year, bro, let's be honest with you, shit changed, bro. Shit changed, bro. These people are not. It's not that easy. You're not gonna walk up and be like, man, I'm training 8 hours a week or 6 here. I didn't ride as much last week, and I'm a race, and then you podium. That's not. It might happen, but man, it's not gonna happen as much as it used to happen, bro. So you have to be. You gotta up it.
Yeah, unless you're a genetic freak.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to Cat 1 nowadays on less than 12 to 15 hours a week.
Just to be around and alive, to be able to breathe and be able to look straight and not be cross-eyed after a blow, man. Hell, it's real, bro. I thought it was a game because last year I was last year I was a 4. I know this is crazy. Last year I was a 4 and finally moved up after state championships, got second, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the 3s, and then the scene, it's so condensed, bro. The 3-4 races, and it's probably 3 or 4 moves, I guess you would say, that happen, and as long as you have enough matches to hit that, but man, you go to a pro field, they're hitting that 18 to 20 different times at different paces and different rates.
It's attack after attack.
It's attack after attack after attack after attack. It's definitely a race of nutrition. For sure. 100%. Really, honestly, bro, since this is my second year being back in Austin, really just put my feet down, man. Put some wrists down. I've been hopping around, man. Before this, it was Houston. Before that was LA. And I'm from South Carolina. So I've been kind of hopping around, and it's kind of cool to be in my neighborhood, shopping in my neighborhood, having my spot, being just feeling based and comfortable. Just calming down the flight and what's this shit called? Fight or flight responses. Just kind of have a little bit better a base, but get richer, man. Be smarter, be more efficient. And being a little bit more protective of time and energy, and having a little bit better boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just doing what I love, Just do what you love, bro. For real. I think we also entertain a lot of bullshit that we don't have to. We let a lot of bullshit get in our life, and like I say, energy like never dies, but energy is sticky. So be careful about who the fuck you got around you, bro. Like, for real. Like, if they not positive and they not trying to do shit, they not trying to build, man, leave people alone, bro. They gonna bullshit with you. They gonna bullshit when they get home. They gonna be on bullshit. Like, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Put yourself around people, bro.
So last night, I watched it a few days ago while I was on the trainer. But last night, you and I watched the Benidorm cyclocross race.
Crazy.
Right? Insane.
Literally what we just talking about. The level of fitness, bro.
But anyway, Wout is up front. He's looking great. He's got a massive gap. And he runs over the barriers and messes up the remount. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Falls on the bike.
Yeah, for sure.
Tries to get back up. Hops back on the bike. Kicks off his saddle off the rails. And finishes that last lap with his saddle off.
Right. Crazy.
First off. Looks kind of painful.
Yeah.
Just riding on saddle rails. But crazy. We see E3 Harrelbeck.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
We see E3
sure.
Harrelbeck
For sure.
post a cartoon
Wow.
of him riding without a seat, just over a seat post, and it says, roughly translated into English, Wout van Aert crosses the finish line without a saddle. LGBT community rejoices. Man, so
And I like D3.
Yeah,
I love the race.
historically it's been a great race, but
it's a good race, man. It's good to watch. Sagan definitely made that one.
I think
Hopping back in the G.
I think it just illustrates like the crazy homophobia and like boys club that still exists in cycling. Cycling is very much an old man, a boys club sport that's
Golf on wheels.
golf on wheels.
Golf on wheels, for sure.
It costs a lot of money, and it's generally represented by older white men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we even call it like dentist bikes, right?
Yeah.
Only bikes that dentists and doctors can afford.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so seeing stuff like this is just furthers the point why women, gay people, people of color are so underrepresented in cycling.
Yeah.
And why it's so hard for them to get into it, why they don't feel safe or accepted in the sport whenever they see shit like this.
Oh, 100%, bro. 100%. I mean, honestly, like, and for any teams that I've ever been, like, with or been a part of, like, it's never no knock, but, like, it's man, like, I've never really usually felt, like, I could be a part of a team, but I've never really felt like I was, like, a part of a team. Just because of, like, the culture background, the difference. People don't know how to approach you. You can feel it. If you like, I work in sales, man. I can kind of like catch a vibe pretty quick. I can kind of be able to kind of know what's going on. But you catch people and they don't know how to like kind of read you, so they're kind of acting offset, which makes you offset. Kind of throws you off because now you should be with your folks or your people, your group, your people. You know what I mean? And you realize that like at the end of the day, you're really not. You know what I mean? Like it's, yeah, you are a minority, and I guess you just have to learn how to conduct yourself and be able to find your tribe, man. And sometimes that can be a deciding factor to kind of teach you how to navigate and not go with. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just like instinct. Does it surprise me? No, not really. Yeah. You know what I mean? It doesn't really surprise me, bro. Because I feel like that's like kind of like the backbone. I feel like we just got a lot of people like stuck in their ways, you know. Yeah. A lot of people are stuck in their ways and have like an old view. Like, you know, we got to say like they dinosaurs and like we just waiting for them to die off. And this kind of like ties back into like what we're saying about America. Like what makes big races, like it's like culture, bro. Like you get what I'm saying? Like it can like tie back to like, man, like why we have like Amazing Road Race out in like Georgia or in the upstate of South Carolina, like what happened to it, like, you know what I mean? It just depends on like the people that are running it, these race organizers.
Yeah.
A lot of them are closed minded and old school. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like it's something you gotta always kind of think about in the back of your head, like, well, why they do it this way? Because and usually, I mean, like you can see like Justin. Shout out to Justin, man. He sees how people kind of moves because he's dealt with organizing races on his own, and he understands like the game of it, I would say, and can kind of see it, and like he'll change up like the race schedule. I remember they used to like hit USA crits in Speed Week, but like, bro, like I'm from the South, bro. Like there's a lot of folks out there who not trying to see like people of color like on bikes, bro. Society, maybe one of us can really get rich and start making some changes and really make a safe space. And I think that's the reason why Driveway is so cool. You know what I mean? It's really a place where you can really hone in your skills and really be able to race every single week on a Thursday on what used to be like a race car track.
Yep, so the Driveway Motorsports facility.
Yeah.
It was originally built, a guy wanted to build a racetrack and couldn't get the permitting. So he built a driveway for his house. That house is still in the middle. He lived there for a very long time.
That's crazy.
Yep. Skirted the rules, but it's pretty sick. Now I'm not exactly sure who owns it. There's a flux in land ownership between Oracle and the city of Austin.
Yeah, for sure.
But the fact that we're still able to use it, the fact that
Blessing.
Chris Tolley has put in so much work to be able to get Thursday night races happening each week, and that he's doing all the yard and lawn maintenance out there.
By himself, man.
Yeah, it really shows a love of the game.
One man army type.
Really shows a love of the game, and it couldn't be more appreciated.
100%.
So I'd love to have him on the show eventually.
We gotta get Tolley, bruh. We gotta get Tolley, man. Cause y'all see the internet personality. Y'all be like, bro, Tolley's a solid dude, bro.
Yeah, you think it's just an internet personality, and things are a little different, but he's just as intense in real life as he is online.
Yeah, he's full gas.
I appreciate you guys tuning in to the first episode of the Bridge the Gap Cycling Podcast.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we plan to do this once a month, dropping on the first of the month every month.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to be talking about bikes a lot, but we're also going to be talking about goals that we want to make outside of cycling and how we can get there. So I hope you guys stick around for the long haul, ride in and tell us things we can improve upon, and tell us about the things you're working on. Give us suggestions for what we can talk about.
Yeah, like what's going on in the scenes, where you guys at? Like let us know. I mean, cause also too, man, we might pop up. We might try to see what's going on. We also want to like kind of showcase what's going on out in the States. I know we might be doing a trip outside of the States and kind of trying to see that and doing a little bit of comparison. But yeah, man, let us know what's going on. Maybe there's some races that we don't know about. Maybe we might be talking out ignorance. That's one thing we're gonna say. We always want to grow. We always want to know. We're always turning over rocks, So we're trying to figure out. Let us know. If you the plug, tap in. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm excited, bro.
Yeah,
this is gonna be
very excited.
Yeah,
I'm stoked for what we can do with it.
Yeah, shout out to the Peddler. Thank you for the opportunity. And just trying to make dreams come true. We coming at your head, what? Yeah, this Bridging the Gap motherfucking first episode, bro. Yeah, real shit. Real shit. Yeah, we coming at you talking about everything. You get to know me. You get to know him. Talk about a little bit of the background. Yeah, we're going to talk about bikes. We're going to talk about E3. We're going to talk about EF. And shout out to... Tolley, man. We're gonna talk about a little bit of everything.